A public hearing was held regarding the mayor's request to amend the zoning ordinance to allow restaurants to add outdoor seating on their private property from April 1st, 2022 until January 1st, 2023.
I think the pandemic has led us to the near collapse of the restaurant industry. And so between the loss of revenue and the layoffs and the lack of labor and all of the craziness that has gone in the last 2 years, like some of my fellow restaurants, I think we've had a 17% loss. I just think that as an operator, I'd like to call upon the fact that we're not big corporate prototype restaurants. Instead, we're unique community buildings that, we have smaller, odd spaces, and we serve a real big purpose to provide community charm. So given these spaces, it's not as comfortable for some folks to adjust to the new COVID, protocol. So this is part of the reason that it is so important for us to have this outdoor space. For Dungarans, we have basically not been able to open for lunches as a result of the lack of labor. Most of our staff are supplementing their daytime income and their teachers. So we're not able to operate during the daytime hours, which has really, caused a significant loss in our revenues. So we really would like to be able to have this to catch up for what we have, lost and going forward. Our guests want it. The community wants it. There are some neighbors that, that abut me that have, that have concerns. And I think that overall, going forward, we need to basically just be good neighbors and understand that we are, functioning sort of nestled in a residential area. And a lot of us are, in a densely populated city, and we're going to go forward and try to accommodate our neighbors as much as we possibly can. And I think that it's on our mind that this is really an important thing, that we need to peacefully coexist together. But we don't want to fail, and it's been really scary. So again, I ask for your support in this, and let you know that your community wants it. So thank you for hearing me.
I'm going to support this as well, and but I am mindful of the comment that was just made by about the impact on neighbors, and I think that as we go forward beyond this transition period where we're trying to make this work right now, and certainly for those folks who've been in this context, I think it's important that, as President Albright indicated, a number of these requirements were part of special permits worked out very carefully by the Land Use Committee. So I think that it's important to, in the next iteration, and again, the department can recommend what it feels appropriate, but that we have some mechanism for taking into account those neighborhood issues that have been indicated, if in case something does not work out, so that we can try and accommodate everybody's interest as best we can.
This particular item of allowing restaurants to expand their outdoor seating on their own private property, be it patios or their own private parking spaces, it's very few restaurants that have access to that type of space. So for any counselor who might be concerned about that, it's really only a handful of restaurants that this really applies to.
As a council, we would like to go further and do better in accommodating outdoor dining of different kinds. And to do that, as President Albright mentioned, there are other issues we need to address. Nothing is simple.
As we consider and are continuing to emphasize the importance of the vibrancy of the village centers, a lot of this comes from destination retail, which are restaurants in our case, in large part. So if we want to be bringing people into the downtown centers, we need to make sure that these assets remain stable and viable.